I'm recording this so that I can watch myself and cringe, probably just a little bit. What made this evening happen was I turned 40 last month. That's not the applause line. After my birthday, I went to Colorado and spent some time with friends and family. And my dear friend and spiritual mentor, Malin, sat down with me. Malin is in his late 60s, early 70s. He's known me since before I knew who he even was. And for the last 20 years or so, he's been instrumental in sort of guiding me on the spiritual path. And as we're sitting, having a spalt of tea, he's British, he does say spalt of tea, as we're sitting together, about an hour or so, we're chatting, and there's a long pause. One of those not quite uncomfortable, but you know there's something about to come. And he says, "Aaron," in a British accent, "I feel it's time for you to use your voice for something a little different." And I said, "What do you mean exactly?" He said, "When I was about your age, I traveled the United States, touring college campuses, speaking on ontology." Has anyone heard of ontology? You have. The study of being. And the reason he talked about ontology, because at that point, this would have been, what, the 60s roughly, it wasn't cool to talk about things of a spiritual nature. So the topic of ontology would not polarize or offend anyone. And of course, college campuses are full of inquisitive folks who love to learn about stuff, and this thing called ontology sounds fascinating. So that's what he did, and he had great fulfillment in it. He really enjoyed it, had a great experience, and it sort of launched him into a fantastic life. So I'm not going to talk about ontology, because I don't really understand it, but what he wanted me to do was talk about something that I am passionate about, something that I love, something that I want to share with other people. And what came to me? Relationships. I love relationships. Of course, we all do. Who here tonight is in a relationship? About half. About half. Well,
This is still considered a relationship if you're married.
what was that?
Is this still considered a relationship if you're married?
Yes, of course. Of course it is.
It's like I don't know.
Because we're going to label a few relationships. Spouse. What other relationships are we in?
Family members.
Yes. Family. Which of course, brother, sister, mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, those are all relationships. Very important relationships. What other relationships are we involved in?
Friends.
Friends. Friends and acquaintances. I'm blessed to have several really great friends here tonight, and some new friends. What other relationships do we have? Workplace. Co-workers. Critical to our success. Absolutely. How about pets? Dogs, cats, horses. I heard a coo. Is that you? Aww, sure, pets. Pets are a very important relationship, particularly for those of us that live alone. Right, Stephanie? Pets are wonderful. There's one huge relationship missing.
Spiritual.
You're pointing out. Spiritual. Now I can use the word God, but what does that do?
Conflicts with a lot of people.
It does. The word God, in and of itself, means nothing. But to me, to you, to you, to you, it means something completely different. Maybe similar, but different. So if I use the word God, I may be alienating some people. I could be inflaming others. I could be ingratiating myself to others. So I'm going to choose the word Creator. We all have a creator, do we not? Atheists have a creator. Agnostics have a creator. Catholic dogs have a creator. Plants have a creator. Video cameras have a creator. We all have a creator. So if I happen to use the word God or creator, please, whatever it is to you that is greater than you, that has created you, that is what I'm referring to. So, who has a relationship? Awesome. Everybody. We're done. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Now, some of our relationships are fantastic. Marriage, wonderful. Newly married couple here, by the way, friends of mine. Yay. If you're in a relationship, pick one. Actually, let's pick a specific one. In your mind, pick one relationship that maybe is not great. Maybe it's good, maybe it's okay, but you would like it to be better. Could be your houseplant. I kill a lot of plants because I travel for work. We have a strained relationship in my home. Now that relationship, the first question you have to ask yourself is, does it serve me? Does this relationship with my houseplant serve me? Well, yes, it creates oxygen. It looks beautiful. It gives some ambiance to my home. Sure, it serves me. But the problem is, I don't water it often enough. So there's a way to improve my relationship with my plant. Quite simple, of course, water it. Now, in your relationships, the one you're holding in your mind, ask yourself, does it serve you? If it doesn't, what should you do? Walk away. It's really hard to do, but it's easy to say. Many years ago, I like to call my OB years. Where's that BO? Before Oklahoma, that would be BO. My before Oklahoma years, I had a girlfriend. We'll call her Lisa. Lisa and I lived together. We were actually high school sweethearts. We met in 9th grade. You know that love you experience in high school? I had that. I was pathetic. I was on the phone 4 hours a day. Oh, I love you, I miss you. All of that. Well, Mom decided, you know what? We're going to move. We're going to leave New York, and we're going to move our happy butts across the country to Colorado. Bye, Lisa. Didn't actually lose touch with her. We kept in contact, telephone, email, stuff like that. We were truly high school sweethearts. Well, after she graduated high school, she had a couple years of college in New York, and then she moved to Colorado to go to school. Okay, that was code for get closer to Aaron. Yay! Happy trail, right? Not so much. Turns out we're not compatible as young adults. So we try. It's horrible. We fight, we break up. Years go by. She graduates college, she moves to California, gets married to a guy in the Air Force, has a great life. I move on, do some other great things. Well, high school reunion, the 10-year reunion, the one we all dread, right? We meet at the high school reunion. Turns out she's divorced. Hey, what are you doing with your life, Aaron? Nothing, I'm single, I'm happy. So she decides she will move to Colorado. We move in together. We spend 5 or 6 years together. We are headed down that path, that marriage, that happy marriage path. Except one thing. We're not happy. We're absolutely miserable. I know it. She knows it. But what do we do about it? Nothing. We fail to ask ourselves the question, does this relationship serve me? We stayed together out of fear, guilt, the unknown, because we'd always been together. But is that the right reason to stay together? No. So what did I do? I took the chicken shit route. I stayed in it, hoping that she would end it. So I let it get miserable. And it did. And finally she broke up with me. Didn't hurt. I was relieved. It was over. But I learned the really hard way. That is not a man of integrity. That is not who I want to be. That's who I was. So ask yourself that question. Does this relationship serve me? And if it doesn't, get out. Now let's say it does serve you. Yay! This is more fun. So I'm in a relationship that serves me, but it's not exactly what I want it to be. What can I do to fix it? That's why we're here. I'm going to share with you my ideas, 3 simple ways that aren't easy to fix it. Because simple and easy aren't the same thing, are they? My first suggestion whoops. That says attitude.
Okay.
I don't write as well as I talk. Attitude. There was a wise man that said, what I do is not nearly as important as the attitude with which I do it. Washing the dishes. I don't like washing the dishes, but they have to get clean, so I do it. And I can do it with an attitude of, oh God, I hate the dishes, or I can do it with an attitude of appreciation. Thank God I have dishes. There are folks who don't have dishes. I even have a dishwasher. I just have to rinse them and then put them in the dishwasher. Same action, different attitude. Some of the folks here met my mom. My mom is wonderful, awesome lady. I was gifted with a fantastic mom growing up. Doesn't mean I was the perfect son, though, does it? No. I had chores. Mowing the lawn was one of them. Didn't really like mowing the lawn. Had to get done. I would fight my mom on a weekly basis. The fight never changed. The result never changed. But I still fought it. And then one day it occurred to me, this woman gave me life. She feeds me. She clothes me. She coddles me. I was almost 22 when I moved out of the house. Wow! My attitude sucks! So what did I do? Consciously, mentally realized I need to change my attitude about this. Because I'm going to do it anyway. The lawn's going to get mowed. And if I'm fighting my mom, I'm not building harmony with her. So if I simply take the attitude, thank you, Mom, for letting me live here. Thank you for doing all these wonderful things for me. It changes the nature of the relationship like that. An attitude of gratitude. Is it simple? Yes. Is it easy? No. Because it requires humility. Humility. And humility tastes terrible. Oh, but damn does it feel good when you experience it. So try that. Try adjusting your attitude on anything. And start small. Start really small. Because it's so much easier when it's a really small thing. But you'll notice something fascinating. When you remove the fight from your side of the equation, it goes away. The resistance is gone. And of course, that cascades into other areas of your relationship with that individual. Number 2. Forgiveness. Ow. When I was about 4, I lived on a farm. Mom, dad, sister, chickens, cows, goats, vegetables, geese. It was pretty cool. Wisconsin. However, as a 4-year-old child, you don't see what's really going on with your parents. You feel it, sometimes you hear something, but you don't necessarily articulate what is happening. It just becomes part of your experience. You take it all in, you absorb it, and you think that's normal. Well, it turns out my mom and dad were not happy. At one point they were happy, but at this point, not so happy. So my mom asked herself the question, does this relationship serve me? It did not, so she chose to leave. Takes my sister and I, moves us to Illinois. Dad stays on the farm. Fast forward a few years, Mom, sister, and I moved to New York. Dad leaves the farm, follows us, lives in the same town so he can be close enough to his kids. Pretty good dad, loved us, did his best to take care of us. Wasn't great with the child support, but he did the best he knew how as a father. I was about 8 or 10, he's visiting, and he says to me, Aaron, I'm getting older, I'm getting some gray hair, and I may not be around much longer. So I think it's a good idea if you come live with me. What? You're gonna die? That's the takeaway as an 8-year-old child. You're going to die. Soon. Guilt, fear, anger, powerful negative emotions in this 8-year-old child. Did my father intend to do that? No, of course not. He wasn't aware of what he was saying to an 8-year-old psyche. Years later, my father and I don't have the relationship either of us wants. Why do you suppose that is? Because I'm still living the experience of an 8-year-old boy. Only now I'm translating it through a 20-year-old man. But it's still fear. There's still guilt. There's still intimidation. All of these things are present in my experience with my father. Fast forward another 10, 12, 15 years. Still wanting a better relationship with my father. It's not happening. Enter forgiveness. With some professional help. Hypnotherapy, actually. Right, Jennifer? Wonderful lady. Hypnotherapist helped me understand that I was experiencing my father as a child, even though I was an adult. I was expecting my father to act in a way that he was not capable of acting. Because my dad was raised happy or mad. Happy or mad, happy or mad. Not his fault, his reality. So he expressed to me happy or mad. I never knew which one was coming. But when I realized why I was angry with him, then I could do this, forgive him. There was a lot of crying on my part. There was a lot of explosions in my mind, thinking of all these things, all these instances that required forgiveness. And I also realized that when I forgive my father, it allows him to be forgiven, which is even more powerful than my gift of forgiveness. His receiving of the forgiveness. That's the true power. Our relationship has dramatically improved in the last 1.5 years, 2 years. This is obviously very recent. And with that improvement, my father is now actually able to tell me, looking me in the eye, I love you, son. Hadn't heard those words. Read those words in cards. Hadn't heard those words 30 years. Every time we talk on the phone, I love you, Dad. Click. I don't cry when I say it now. There's no angst, no anxiety, no fear, no trepidation. I love you. Forgiveness. Unbelievably powerful. Three. Give love to get love. Give love to get love. I'm sure you've heard this before. Maybe, perhaps. It's very simple. You give your puppy love, your puppy loves you back. It's fantastic. But if you've asked yourself the question, does this serve me? And it does, but it's not great. Am I giving all that I need to be giving to get what it is that I need to get. I used to work with a woman, we'll call her Shelley. Shelley was a challenge. You all work with a Shelley, or you have, or you will. Shelley was a challenge for me. Our personalities clashed big time. We had our challenges. I tried the usual things that Aaron does, which are sunny disposition, bright smile. I received a lovely text from Melissa a few days ago. Not all problems can be solved with a sunny disposition and a lovely smile. I beg to differ. So I tried these techniques on Shelley, and they weren't working. It wasn't helping, not at all. It occurred to me, Shelley wants to be successful in her job and in her life. And she is, but she may not be receiving that message from her employer, from her coworkers, from her boss, from her subordinates. So what can I do that will help this situation? Give love to get love. I'm not dating her. That's not what I'm talking about. I thought of a book that I read that had a life-changing effect on me. Deepak Chopra is the author. Lots of heads. Yes, Deepak Chopra. 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Fantastic book. Easy to read. It's like this big. It takes about 6 minutes to go through the whole thing. But it is so simple, which makes it so powerful. Because the message is how to use very simple spiritual everyday lessons to make your life in all areas more successful. And I thought Shelley could benefit from some success. I went to the bookstore, bought a copy, and I put a Post-it note on it. This taught me lots of things. It was wonderful. I hope you enjoy it. I didn't sign it. That'd be inappropriate, because that sets up resistance. We already have this going on, so now she thinks I'm attacking her. Don't want to do that. So it's after hours, I put it on her desk and I leave, hoping there's no cameras watching. Do I know if she read the book? I have no idea. But what I do know is that our relationship is infinitely better than it ever was. And I mean infinitely. I am no longer afraid to take this person's calls, emails, face-to-face correspondence, no problem. And I've actually heard other people say something similar. Have you noticed the change in Shelley? Yes, I have. I'm not taking credit for it, but what I do know is that I gave love, and now I'm getting love. Pretty simple, pretty powerful. Yes?
Another good book to read that has an impact upon your relationship is The 5 Languages of Love.
That's a brilliant book.
It helps. It really does. It helps. And if the person, if it's a husband or wife situation, if you read it together and discuss it and then take the test at the end and so forth, it can help if you're both willing to make a change.
The 5 Love Languages, written by a Christian author, I forget his name.
Dave Chapman.
Thank you, Dave Chapman. And it is also a very simple, very powerful book. And it's very helpful in all relationships, whether it be work, mother, father, friends, whatever it is. When you speak the language of love of the other person in your relationship, suddenly they feel appreciated and loved. Wow, is that simple. Wished I knew that when I was a child. Can you imagine if you knew your parents' love language and you spoke it and they spoke yours? How much simpler life would have been. Pretty amazing. When you go home tonight, I would like you to hold in mind the person that you selected that you have a challenge with. And think about these 3 things. Your attitude towards them, forgiveness, and giving them love in a way they can see it or feel it or hear it. Absolutely. Will it happen overnight? No. But what you'll notice is, when you do these things with one person, it becomes really easy to do it with another person and another person. And as you improve your own ability to relate to these other people in your life, they will have a different experience with you. And it's like fire. It keeps burning stuff, and it passes on to other folks. And you begin to see a change in your world, because people that no longer fit into your relationship skill, style, will fade away. Sometimes it's a little painful, other times you don't even notice it. But the fact is, the people that replace those relationships are in tune with what it is that you're thinking and feeling and expressing. So as we express more of our true character, it is recognized consciously and unconsciously by others, and they're then drawn to us. And if you don't believe it, do it. Amazing. And it doesn't take a year. It takes a few weeks, maybe a month, and it's powerful. And obviously, the people you surround yourself with will determine the quality of your day-to-day life. And as you improve the people that surround you, your whole life is uplifted and improved. And it's really very simple. Any thoughts? Any questions? Class adjourned.